can see this white light in the corner of the room, and I just sort of get sucked into it. The next thing I remember is sort of like when you look at the planet Earth from space, or when you look at Google Earth and you kind of zoom in. So I kind of felt myself just zooming in over.
Look at Earth from space. What the fake globe, the spinning wobbling ball, the magical ball. Why do they always bring that up? You have to wonder about that. NASA's fake. For anyone that's new here, NASA's completely fake. There's just you could watch videos for days, weeks, months. I don't know how many they've removed, but there used to be just years worth of videos showing how fake everything to do with NASA is. From the spacewalks to the International Space Station to the moon landings to you name it. You name it, they've been caught and exposed a million different ways. Okay?
Just kept going closer and closer to my mom's stomach, and when I was in her stomach, I look up and it's almost like looking from under a swimming pool. Like when you're underwater and you look up, you can sort of see everything sort of in ripples and you can see a little light filtering in like that. So that's how I saw my mother. And I used to have this memory. It was sort of like a recurring memory, which at first when I was a child, I didn't really know much about. So I used to keep wondering, why do I keep getting this dream? Like, why do I keep remembering this dream as if it's,
Why does he keep calling it a dream?
So when I was about 12 years old, I told my mom and dad about it. We were sitting in our living room together and I was just talking to them and I told them that, I have this dream that I keep remembering and I think it's a dream, but it's very realistic. And then I told them about it. All right. So when I told them about it, they both looked at each other shocked because that actually happened when my mother was 4 months pregnant with me. And how they remember it very clearly is because the sari that my mom was wearing was this orange color sari that she had worn on her engagement. So when they looked at me and, they looked at each other and then when they told me that this actually happened, that's when I sort of felt that maybe that was actually my memory of my soul entering into this body. And if I could remember that, then the memory before that was of being a monk and actually rising out of my body. So I kind of believe very strongly that that is actually my...
Okay, so it's an actual memory. Then the way he describes it, he makes it confusing. If you're going to retell this story, you should work on your storytelling ability because don't even mention dream. Call it a memory if it's a memory. Maybe at the beginning you could say, I thought maybe it was a dream. Say that once, but you said dream so many times that your audience is going to start wondering, did he just dream that? Because you said it about 17 fucking times, dude. I'm sorry. But if it's a memory, you wouldn't be calling it a dream that many times. It's just kind of weird. Not doing yourself any favors in terms of believability by saying it that way.
And it's only till the age of 12 that, at the age of 12, when I talked to my mom and dad, that's when they told me that this really happened. That came as a big shock to me because before that, I used to just think that it's a dream that I keep remembering all the time.
It's like a residual memory that didn't get deleted.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Sorry for jumping in here, but I just wanted to give a shout out to my subscribers, my viewers from India. Shout out to everyone that's watching the Sanity Machine from India right now. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it.
I believe that the traditional belief of reincarnation is more connected to karma. Basically just karma, that, it's like what you do in this life, that your actions, your good actions, your bad actions. And it's like, if you keep building negative karma, you have to keep coming back to this world again and again.
Just have to jump in here. The concept of karma, I don't care what your religion is, makes no sense. Because you would keep building karma, keep getting mind wiped. You'd have no way to get rid of it. It would be impossible to get out of here. And I don't believe that that's true. And I don't believe that karma makes sense because it would be unfair. And it just wouldn't make sense to get punished for things from a past life that you can't remember doing. You wouldn't know what the punishment was here. You get what I'm saying? Like it's like somebody coming along and just punching you in the side of the head for no reason. You'd be like, what the hell? You're supposed to figure out, oh, that was for 3 lifetimes ago. It makes no sense. The mind wipe that we get, for the most part, we are almost 100% mind wiped. A clean slate with no memories when we come into this life shows that there's no karma. Karma makes 0 sense. Absolute. So does original sin, by the way. This isn't about religion. It's about getting at the truth. So original sin also makes 0 sense. To be called a sinner as a newborn pure baby, right? To be called a sinner because of the transgressions or the crimes of your great-grandfather and great-grandmother. It makes no sense. No sense. 0. Okay? To anyone that believes in karma, please research that deeply. Because the belief in that karma will just get you recycled here endlessly. It's the actual belief in it that will get you recycled, if you see what I'm saying. You got to drop that. You got to get rid of that. And the way to do it is really start thinking about it logically. Does it make any sense? Do you remember your past crimes, your past sins, your past transgressions when you hurt others or whatever you might have guilt over in this lifetime? Do you remember doing anything in a past life and being like, yeah, I'm paying for it now? It doesn't make sense. You can't pay for something that you don't even remember. And you're put into a fucked up realm. Okay? I mean, you're put into a realm of suffering and evil. So I do understand if you got brainwashed by religion, by belief in karma, it might be difficult to break free from that. In order to get out of here, out of this hell realm, you have to break free from that. You have to. You have to see through that.
We are not human beings having a spiritual experience We're spiritual beings having a human experience. And when you just let that sink into you, it just changes the whole way you think about life in general, because you kind of realize that our true identity is that of a spirit or a soul who's currently on earth having a certain experience.
We are spiritual beings in human meat suits. This is an experience. But the whole concept of reincarnation and being tricked to come back here is not right. It's immoral. It's wrong. Just like the whole thing of karma and guilt and shame to get us back here. We're not learning here. You can't learn when you get mind wiped, when you get memory wiped. So the whole we're just here to experience and keep learning makes no sense. Plus, this is a world controlled by evil and designed to cause suffering. It's not just designed, oh, we're here for an experience. This is like a torture chamber, okay? It's not, you don't learn that way. You get traumatized that way. And trauma doesn't help you learn. Quite the opposite. It almost makes learning impossible. And that's what this realm does to us. Some more than others, obviously. So some people would say, well, there's some people with easy lives. That's true. But do they see what we see? I'm not crediting our suffering. I'm just saying, if they have an easy life, chances are they're not like, oh, this is a hell realm. They get blinded by that, if you get what I mean. The Matrix uses that to fool them, just like beauty is used here to fool you, so that you can say, hey, it's not a prison. It's not complete torture. It's not completely ugly and disease-ridden and miserable. It's not all cockroaches and rats and parasites and ticks and leeches here. Look, there's some beautiful trees over there. There's some songbirds singing, and I'll nod my head and agree and say, yeah, there is some beauty here. There's some natural beauty. Nature's still brutal, of course. If you go out in the wild, nature's brutal, but it can look beautiful. There's just enough beauty to make this place convincing, to make the illusion, the mirage, convincing. Study the suffering of this realm, not just your own, but the realm itself. Think as big as you can. I don't live in India. India is far away from Canada, but I've looked at the suffering of India, at least on the internet. I haven't traveled there, but I would travel there if I could. I would. That is a place that I, maybe not the top of my list. I'd rather go to Ireland and Scotland, let's say, and some of the Nordic countries and stuff like that, and Europe. But if I had a chance, yeah, I would go to India. Mainly because of the Indian people, to be honest. I've met some Indian people in Canada, and I would say 9 out of 10 of them were pretty good people. I could tell right away. Not just friendly, not just surface friendly, but they seem to have something, spirit, that is lacking in some others. So that's what I notice a lot of times, at least where I've been. What I would suggest is to study the suffering of this realm, and also in the afterlife. When you do research into the afterlife, study the tricks, the lies, the deceptions. If you can put those pieces together and see how much suffering there is in this realm, and that they lie to us and trick us in the afterlife, then you'll put the soul trap together. It's pretty easy after that. That's all you have to do. Oh, and reincarnation is real. You could do reincarnation research and realize, oh, okay, that adds up, and there's massive evidence there with all these cases. It is happening. And some remember. Most don't. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen to more than just the ones that remember. Because we do get mind wiped. And that's how this system works. It's not a perfect system. But those little glitches allow us, in their imperfect system, to be able to see what's happening. If you see what I'm saying. Just those little glitches. That's enough. At least for some of us. A rare few. It might only be thousands of us on this whole earth that understands this.
Being in meditation, but being guided during the meditation, right? So she asked me, when she got me into that state, right? She asked me to just go to a past life, whichever past life. She didn't specify. She said that just go to the past life that you need to learn from right now. So it was just like I was in a state of meditation, and suddenly I saw myself, or I felt as if I'm standing in this marketplace, and I was a kid. I was probably about 7 or 8 years old, and I was in this market, and she asked me to look at my feet, which later on I learned that they ask you to look at your feet sort of to ground you in that particular reality or that memory, right? So when I was looking at Jesus, it was like the air around him was all sort of shimmering and blurring and shaking, sort of like a mirage, right? And that's what I realized at that time, that is what the halo actually is. That, he had so much of spiritual energy that the air around him was actually kind of like vibrating. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking right into his eyes, and in my mind, I called him Rabboni, which means master. All right. So I said, master, like, why did you?
Oh, damn. Don't ever call him or anyone else master. But when you were looking into his eyes, were his eyes brown? Or were they blue? Because people have seen a different looking Jesus in every near-death experience. It's not the same one. He changes. They don't even have to keep it consistent. I think that's fake, feeling home, feeling unconditional love. I think both are just deceptions, illusions. That's what I think. Do I think this man experienced that and he believes that? Yeah, I think he probably does. I would lean in that direction. But what he experienced was not real. He wasn't in a real heaven. You could call it fake heaven. You could call it the astral realm. It's still within the matrix. This guy never left the matrix. I'm not faulting him. If he's a good spirit, I wish him well. I wish him to watch my video and to get out of here, because I know how it feels, how great it feels, how peaceful it can feel. But if it was real, this realm wouldn't be this way. Think about it that way.
So she told me about a guy who is now coming to Earth, but the planet he used to be from got
Planet? E.T. Jesus? E.T. phone home. E.T. Jesus phone home. That's the Mandela effect that has changed to home phone. E.T. home phone. It was E.T. phone home. But anyway, I don't know if that switched back, but that had changed many years ago. 2015, 2016, something like that. I remember seeing that one a long time ago. And some of them do flip-flop, these Mandela effect changes, like the Flintstones. That one has gone back and forth for years. It's changed so many times. So for the people that deny the Mandela effect, you just haven't looked into it. You haven't paid attention. You haven't done the research. You haven't watched it. You haven't watched the changes. You haven't seen some of them shift real time in front of your eyes, right there, or right in front of your eyes on the internet, or, or you've seen something, noticed something on one of your CDs, let's say, or a book in your home that has changed, stuff like that. A lot of us have. So that's why we know it's real and it's happening.
light years away from the Earth.
No such thing as light years. No such thing as planets out there. That seems like a planted memory, or like he was under mind control. And that's why I say, when they say it felt like home, it felt like unconditional love, it's just mind control. That's what it is.
And that was not my experience. It was somebody else's experience that she was sharing with me. But I guess since I wasn't that coming to.
I think he felt like he was in a state of higher consciousness. But was he actually? Or was he just under deep mind control? I think I have a theory on that. I think his true essence was bleeding through. That's what I think. I think we have a lot more capacity for love when we're outside of this realm, and sometimes we get a hint of it bleeding through. But it's like we have a governor on that, just like we have a governor on our brain, where we're controlled and limited here within this realm by design. But I think outside of here, we do have an amazing amount of love. Even me, and I'm called the devil incarnate and everything else for speaking the truth on YouTube. Even me, I might even have an amazing amount of love, so that they can control you. That's what it's about. That's what these entities want you to do. They want you to believe that so that they can control you. That's what it's about.